Okay, and that is bending, which means it's not gonna work. That was a bad idea, I think. But the question is, the trouble I went through to do this, was it worth it? And the answer is, well, it is a brisk Florida morning, our first cold front of the year. It's 49 degrees. I had to dig out my sweater. I've even got a pair of pants on. I know for you northerners, you're probably laughing right now. And well, as you should, because that's cold for us. In fact, even my truck was confused this morning. When I started it, it had the steering wheel heater on, while simultaneously it had the air-conditioned seats on. So even Florida trucks get confused in this type of weather. But we're en route to go pick up my logs at the sawmill. They've been processed, they're ready to go, and I'm not quite ready to start my project. And if you remember from that last video, the guy at the sawmill told me that water oak is prone to twisting. So I think I have a hack that will keep them from twisting until I'm ready to do my project. But first, let's go pick up my trailer. Well, my borrowed trailer. Now, those of you that follow this channel know that wasn't my house, and you know that wasn't my trailer, although I do really like the enclosed trailer. That was my dad's house, and it's a new house. He recently had the fence put up. Well, when he had the fence put up, the trailer was already behind the fence. So I don't think he's pulled it out yet. I don't think he realizes how tight that fit is. I mean, I literally had just a couple of inches on either side to get the trailer out. In fact, I hit my mirror when I was backing in like a you-know-what. I did not break it, thankfully. But it's kind of one of those laughable things because, well, let me just explain. So my dump trailer, which you guys know I have, it's rented right now. Customer needed it for a second day, so that's more revenue. No complaint. In some ways, I'm happy I don't have it, right? But I don't have it. But y'all know I have a car hauler. A nice car hauler, and that's actually what I use to drop the logs off. And to be honest with you, it's the preferred trailer for what I'm going to pick up, because the guy at the mill can use his forklift to just load the lumber right on the trailer, and when I get home, I can just use my little mini skid to unload the boards off the trailer. Well, now I gotta load them by hand, and I gotta unload them by hand. But the reason why I don't have that trailer is it's damaged. Well, I let somebody borrow it. They borrow it frequently. It's actually the second time they've damaged my trailer. The first time was like just a couple of scratches. They were backing a mower off and they didn't raise the deck height high enough, and they gouged the aluminum plate that goes over the dovetail, where the breakover is. No big deal, ripped out a couple of screws, really didn't do anything harmful other than put a couple scratches in it. Yes, it's a trailer, but it's an aluminum trailer. It's like super nice trailer. Well, this time, that same person was backing a tractor off, and going down the ramps, they forgot to put the bucket up. And so the bucket grabbed the last part of the trailer, totally bent it, ripped the weld. Of course, it's aluminum. I can weld steel, guys. I haven't figured out how to weld aluminum yet, so it's getting a professional repair done as it should. Person's paying for it. I'm thankful. I never doubted that about them. They are honoring that commitment, which I appreciate. But it is worth talking about. I'd like to get your feedback in the comments, because you guys know I do produce dump trailer videos about the rental business, and I get both comments. Hey, anybody can borrow anything that's mine. And others who say, no way, no how, people don't know what they're doing, and I don't want it damaged. And it's not that this person doesn't know what they're doing, they made a mistake. But that mistake ended up in a damaged trailer that needs repair that I don't have access to right now. And fortunately, guys, it's just my personal trailer, right? It's not impacting a business. Like if my dump trailer was damaged and it went down, then it couldn't be rented. So just think about those things as you let folks borrow your anything. I'll pick back up when we get to the sawmill. We'll take a look at these boards, and hopefully they're in good condition. Need a blower or a broom. Somewhere my dad is watching this right now, laughing. Say, I trained that boy well. You guys know you can't give your dad his trailer back dirty. You're gonna be hung, even as an adult. My initial reaction, I think the guy was right. I mean, I wasn't really questioning him. I mean, he's the he's the professional. No doubt I had some rot in that log. Of course, you know, in a log form, you can't tell, right? Because it might be buried in the center. That tree had been dead for, I don't know, at least a year, I assume. It's probably just living off the sugars for a little while, even when it was dead. And then, of course, by the time I saw it was dead, it had been long dead. From the beginning, I set out knowing that what I'm doing could be, I don't want to say for waste, because I can use the wood for something, even if it's for shelves in the garage. At the very least, I just paid for my own education. I know it was free education because he offered it to me on the phone before I ever took my logs down. But, hey, I get to pass this along to you guys as well. But, I'm not going to mess with these logs today. I'm going to do the hack to keep them from twisting. I'm going to do that tomorrow, but for you guys, it'll be just a second. Now that I got this laid out, I think I'm doing better than I thought I was yesterday. If you saw in the video, I probably sounded defeated, discouraged, and it was, and it's because I was focused on these three boards back here that are really in, well, they're in bad shape. I'll show you those here in a minute. We'll get into those. I actually got some bonus pieces here. The guy, you know, I told him I do the YouTube thing. He's like, well, take these slabs, they're off your tree. Maybe you can turn them into a bench or something. So maybe that's a future project. So I got some live edge there. But this is my good pile. And we'll go over all the financial part of this, what it costs me to get this milled compared to store-bought pricing. But the hack that I've been talking about that I think will help me save this wood, because guys, it is wet. I mean, it is really wet. I'm going to show you that here in a second. But what I want to do is, and remember, I got to be able to move these around. So I think I've got 10 2x6s here. So I'm just going to keep the math simple. I'm going to take 5 of them. I'm going to stand them up next to each other. I'm going to drill a hole as small as possible, but big enough for this 1/4 inch all thread to slide through. And then I'm going to clamp all 5 of them tight with the all thread, because I want to salvage this, because right now financially I'm way ahead. So let's do that part real quick. I was just at Lowe's to pick up this all thread, and I can confirm I checked the prices for a set of, for one 2x6 by 12, which is what this is, regular pine, untreated, $13.50. The 2x4 by 12, which you see down there, those are some extras, some bonuses, bonus boards I got. Those were $8.22. So with 10 of the 2x6s, that's $135. 3 of the 2x4s, that's $24.66. And let's just say that my bad boards back there, which you guys are a little far away, let me get you a close-up. But this one joist is mostly okay. It's just got this bad knot here in the middle. The center board, it's kind of got a center section that started to rot. You could tell maybe there was a fracture at some point, maybe from a hurricane or a big wind event. I'd say the 3 feet of this board is really no good, whereas the 3 to 4 feet on either side of the end is probably still salvageable. And this last board, I'd say every 2 feet or so of this is kind of shot, and then there's 2 feet. I don't know, maybe that's good for some type of blocking in between the joists. But let's just say we give those 50% of the value. So $13.50 for these, $6.75 for those. That's at $20.75. So $135 plus $24.66 plus $20.75 for those. That's a total of $180 I'd spend if I were to go down to Lowe's and buy these right now. Guys, I paid $69 to get this milled, so I am way ahead. What's the big deal with trying to get these clamped so that they don't move on me? First of all, it's because I'm not doing this project right away. I've been told if I was doing this project right away that I really wouldn't have to worry about the twisting because the board would be held by the top plate, the bottom plate, and any fire blocking in between. Let's just say if I was framing up a wall or something, right? It's locked in. It's locked in by the structure and any sheeting, anything like that, so it won't twist. I'm just not getting to this project that fast, okay? So I need to make sure these don't twist on me, which is why I want to go through this process. Now, why would they twist? Guys, they are soaking wet, okay? Let's look at what this is, the moisture. That beep is because it's high. That's 25.8%, 24.6%. Look, even one sitting in the sun for a couple hours. 29%. Oh my goodness. 22%. And really, that shouldn't be surprising. This is, I mean, they literally call this water oak. I mean, this stuff, when you cut it, I've literally seen it drip water. So it is super moist. And I think if just left sat like it is here, I believe it when they say probably a third of them will twist on me and turn into a banana or some type of pretzel. I have a standard drill bit here, but it's clearly not long enough to go all the way through. And I don't want to drill through 3 and then pull them apart and try to, it's just going to take forever. I do have this concrete masonry bit that's obviously long enough to go all the way through here. Obviously not the right bit for wood, but I'm going to try it. Let's see. Okay, there's clearly a reason why they make certain bits for certain materials. That is not at all going through that. That's not gonna work, dang it. Let me see if I can find another bit or I'm gonna have to pull these apart. Ugh. Well, now I got some redneck ingenuity going on. This is literally one of those metal hooks that you hang on your on your pegboard so that you can hang tools from. I just lopped off the 2 ends and then filed that down to a very sharp point. I'm going to try to use that as a nail to go all the way through to the other side so I have a mark, because I know if I try to measure and come from this side, if you guys have done that, you know how impossible that is to hit the hole using a hand drill. Okay, and that is bending, which means it's not going to work. Darn. Remember, I come to your house next. My dad just told me he's gonna do a donut in my yard. But I did get special delivery service, which is pretty amazing. And now I can do this the proper way. Yes. I had to pop that out because sometimes when you cut these things, actually not sometimes, a lot of times when you cut them with a cutoff wheel, you kind of booger up the threads a little bit. And usually just a hand file is enough to clean them up, to allow you to get the nut back on. Another little tip is to keep the nut on and then cut it after the nut's on. And then when you back it off, just backing it off will clean up the thread. So we're good to tighten this one up, and we should be in business. Get these removed now. These things are ancient, but they still work. This is the part I actually feared the most. Great idea and all, but this thing is gonna be heavy. This wood is soaking wet. Hey bud, good, how you doing? Awesome, yes.
I know you weren't waiting for it.
Amazon delivery to the rescue, future video, another plasma cutter. Great that these are all together, but now this weight is ×5, and I gotta try to lift it up by myself and get it in my garage here where it's gonna sit and live and dry out. Ugh. Okay, just gotta do it. Maybe 5 boards was a bad choice.
People in the valley, they don't understand what makes and takes the breaks and forsakes a man.
What?
People in the valley, they don't understand the hands which built the roads, the shovel coal, seeds were sown, dues were owed, but didn't go to plan. I've been trying my best to be a working man. When dark clouds come, my love, she cries, she cries, she cries, she cries, she cries. Man.
Okay. All right. The sliding's not so bad. Okay, I gotta do that one more time, another set of 5, and then the other sets are 3 2x6s and 3 2x4s, so those won't be as bad. I won't make you guys suffer through that. I'll show you when I'm done. Well, I did get everything finished yesterday. I have them all buttoned up and put away. I think the all thread's gonna work fine. I can't imagine these boards are gonna twist how I have them pinned. I mean, I got them locked down pretty tight. But I think it was good that I decided to do that. I don't know if it showed up on camera, but take a look at this board. This board right here was already twisting. That's only about a week after the mill. Now that's not doing it now. It's pinned, it's held in place. That started to warp before I ever pinned it. So there is one other advantage I kind of realized after the fact. Now that I have them in this block form, I can actually run a planer across them to get them nice and true before I ever put them up as joists. Because remember, this is going to be for a future lean-to on the project. But the question is, the trouble I went through to do this, was it worth it? And the answer is yes and no. No, because I spent like 3 hours doing this. Now about an hour of it was lost doing the YouTube filming. It just takes time to get you guys different camera angles, to go back and check my microphone to make sure it was working, I didn't lose sound, make sure I have B-roll to show you the different types of wood. Anyway, you get it. But I probably would have had at least 2 hours in getting this drilled and getting that all thread cut down the sides, because remember, I was just starting with one big piece kind of like this and cutting it down the sides. Now the good news is I won't throw those away. So if I ever do any more of these trees that are in the backyard, I can reuse this, pre-trimmed all thread. So no time lost cutting them, no time lost cleaning up the threads so the nut fits, they'll just already work. And I think in that case, I probably could have done all of this in an hour. Now I could have used bolts, I could have gone out and bought some, thin 6-inch, or I guess I would have needed, no, I probably would have needed I think those are like 8.5, I think this is like 8 inches thick, or 9 inches. So anyway, this is called a 10-inch bolt. I could have done that, but I would have needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. And at some point, you're just adding value or adding cost on top of what I paid to get milled, right? $69 to mill this, $180 worth of wood. And it's that gap that we're asking ourselves, was this worth it? Was that money savings worth the time I spent? And the yes part of that to me is the fact that this has a novelty to it, right? This is a tree that grew up on my property. I don't know how old it was. It was a very mature oak tree, but it grew up on this property, and it's going to get put back into a project that's going to stay on this property. And to some of you, you don't care a lick, and I get that. But to me, I think that's kind of cool. I nerd out on that stuff. I like anything old. I like the idea that I'm preserving a tree that fell down from the hurricane and going to make it into a project that I've been looking forward to for a long time that I think I need. So more ahead, I suppose, with this. We'll figure out, was this all worth it? Because that's actually a question that's not going to be answered until I put this into production, meaning actually do the project. Now, this wood does not have to dry out fully to be able to start the project. It just has to stay pinned until it goes into the project itself. Then as it's fastened, right, to itself and to all the blocking and to the metal panels that will be the lean-to, that will secure it for any drying out that still remains. So Hopefully they dry out pretty well sitting here. That way when they come down, they'll be a little bit lighter because they were so heavy. So heavy. But guys, I thank you so much for watching. Comment below if you've done anything like this before. Comment below if you've got experience with oak. If you think I've totally wasted my time, or you know for a fact I have some problems ahead for me that I need to be thinking about, do me a favor. Let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate that feedback. And guys, watch one of these other videos right here. Spend time with your creator. He loves you. He wants to hear from you. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks.